Hello guys, this is Aya. Today we are making incredibly delicious caramel apple galette. Last week I shared how to make apple pie, classic apple pie, and this week I also wanted to share another amazing apple pie or apple galette. This one is absolutely my favorite. The apple filling contains caramel, apple, of course, dark rum, heavy cream, butter, cinnamon, and all the good stuff. Makes incredible smell and rich and deep taste. It's such an amazing dessert, and I needed to include this one for this fall and holiday season. But without further ado, let's get started. To make the filling, first cut the apples into cubes. I like to use half and half Granny Smith and Golden Delicious for this pie. It makes a beautiful texture. And I recommend preparing all the ingredients beforehand, including this lemon zest, because we constantly have to mix apples once we start heating it. Now heat sugar at medium to medium low heat to make caramel. It's important not to touch it until it starts caramelizing from the edge. Once you see that it's happening, gradually melt the sugar with the caramel toward inside, like this. I recommend lowering the heat toward the end to prevent it from getting too dark quickly. Once you see that it turns into nice bright orangey color, add butter. Add apples when good amount of it is melted. And mix. And turn back the heat to medium low heat again. And add all the dry ingredients first, which is brown sugar, salt, cinnamon, and cornstarch. Mix. And add liquids, which is heavy cream, dark rum, and lemon juice. Mix and continue heating until the apple gets softer. And mix often so that the bottom is not going to get burned. It smells incredible here. Spread it on a tray, wrap, and chill it in the fridge until it cools down to room temperature or until it's cold. To see how to make the pie dough, check out the video I posted last week. I shared how to make it step by step in the classic apple pie tutorial. I like to leave the dough at room temperature for about 15 to 30 minutes depending on the room temperature. And first push the dough like this to make it softer and start rolling it once it's soft enough. And roll it into a little bigger than 12-inch circle. The size of the baked pie is going to be about 10-inch. And move it on a tray with the parchment paper. And I like to mark 9-inch circle inside where I'm gonna spread the filling later. So this is just gonna be the guide for me. Now let's assemble everything together. First, slice apple to lay on top. Today, I'm gonna show 2 ways to decorate the apples. With the first way, I'm gonna leave the skin on and slice. It's important to slice it very thin into about 1 millimeter to create a very pleasant texture after it's baked. It doesn't feel so good in your mouth when it's so thick. And lay the apples like dominoes to make them flatter. And with the other way, peel off the skin and slice the same way. I personally much prefer the texture without the skin on. The apple skin is a good source of fibers, so you can pick whichever you like. On top of the pie sheet, spread a thin layer of cornstarch. And place the caramel apple filling. Squeeze out all the delicious sauce and spread it up to the 9-inch circle. And place the sliced apples on top. In total, I used about 2.5 medium-large apples. And with the other way, place each slice of apples like dominoes like this. To assemble them beautifully, I always focus on 3 things. First, instead of laying like this, lay like this way. It's going to be a lot easier to assemble them beautifully by doing this. And the second, instead of focusing on the inner line, only pay attention to the outer line, because the inner line is going to be hidden by the next layer anyway. The pie looks beautiful when you can create nice, clean circle with the outer line. And third, place the apples with the same intervals. This is also make the look much better. So just focus on these 3 things and you should be successfully doing this. And now apply melted butter all around the sliced apples. Apply it very gently to prevent the apples from moving around. Mix sugar and cinnamon to make cinnamon sugar. And sprinkle it on top of the apples evenly. Fold the edge of the pie like this and open it up a little bit to show a little bit of apples. It's okay that you can't see all the apple slices on the edge because the apples are going to shrink a little bit after it's baked, and after that you can see a little more slices. Next, apply egg white on top of the pie dough and sprinkle the rest of the cinnamon sugar. And like always, I like to chill this pie for about 30 minutes before I bake. You can prevent the pie dough from spreading or sliding down too much as it's baked. Oftentimes the filling starts coming out from a couple places, from the top or the edge, and that's how I judge if it's done. Now let's wait for it to cool down a little bit more. To finish off this pie, heat apricot jam and water together. Oftentimes, apricot jam contains the chunks of apricot, so in that case, strain it and apply it all over the sliced apple. Try not to drag it strongly so that the apples are not going to move. Instead, top gently on top. This is a very good amount of jam, but do not be afraid to apply all of them because it's gonna add incredible shine and an amazing taste. And it also prevents the apple slices from getting dried. Finally, to make caramel sauce to go with it, watch this video. In this video, I'm sharing 2 ways to make caramel, the dry caramel and wet caramel. And today I use the dry caramel method. Follow the exact step in the tutorial. To slice this galette, I recommend using a slated knife. Move it back and forth like a saw to cut through the sliced apples neatly. Although this galette tastes amazing as is, I also love you to try it with caramel sauce and vanilla ice cream on top. It tastes incredible. The rich and deep filling goes so well with the caramel, and the cold ice cream and warm filling taste unbelievable. So I would love you to try this one, and I think you're going to love it. So thank you so much for watching. Enjoy pastry living, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.